he never really goes. And you won't find love at the bottom.
Peace, peace, peace. This is your boy Juice Winner with another episode of Smoke and Jokes, where we discuss today's topics while indulging in the greatest of herbal essences. Today's show is brought to you by no other than 50 Shades of Grape. I mean, man, make no mistake, it's 50 Shades of Grape. And no, look at that, I can't even put it back inside the jar. No, I don't want to. That one, that's actually a gift right there. All right. So, I wanted to talk to y'all real quick. This is about the birth of a slave, right? You know, they won't let you say certain words, so I refer to them as tambourines. That's what I like to refer to. These cheering for the for their enslaver. I call them tambourines. Like, you look at the little monkey and he got that little tambourine. All you got to do is wind him up and he'll go to work. That's what I refer to. Pardon me, I'm over here looking for my tweezers. Right? So that's what I refer to as a tambourine, or a bib, a black and blackface. And so a lot of times, you won't know the history of this, the birth of this tambourine. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, people might know it by different names, and to avoid that, and I don't want to debate that no more, I just came up with this. You can't argue me about whether or not this is a tambourine or not. That's just it. You might be offended because it might be a monkey, but I ain't thinking about it as a monkey. I mean, I'm just thinking about it as the entertainment factor of, being that. They might refer to you as a monkey, and hey, you might be okay with it. Who knows? I don't know. But there is a history. That's a fact. So my thing is to present the fact. And so, I be on, like I said, I be on Clubhouse. And so I be trying to tell people, about Freemasonry, meaning that they might not even know that they're in these groups or under their spell, right? So a lot of times, everybody is with you up until you explain that it's be the organizations right around them. The groups and the subgroups and all of these things. These are the all Masonic groups in their dominions. You know what I mean? Like those who are caught up in it. You know what I mean? So this is that breakdown. This is me getting into how we even got there, how we even got to a boule, Sigma Gamma Greek fraternity, how we got to, the Noble Drew Ali's and Marcus Garvey's and Elijah Muhammad's and all from out of like Prince Hall, and how this is the making of a slave. Now, when I say the birth of a slave, I mean a rebirth, because you could have somebody physically enslaved. So inside that physical enslavement, you are already setting up their mental enslavement. So now you're putting this chain on them based on deception, misinformation. Letting people believe they're getting a certain thing, but in reality, they're not getting it. You're gaining from it through their misfortune. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna get into it right now. Hold on, I'm about to I'm gonna pull up some. I like the way that I just set up this thing. Where I like if you ever seen my old Let's Talk About Freemasonry, you would see that I would have like the little clip. But I wouldn't be here, you know what I'm saying? It'd just be the picture of me. So, I think I elevated from that to where now I can actually talk along with the pictures, and so that way I won't have to like re-edit, because that's what I did. I had to make the video and then, do a voiceover, where this way I can just go straight into it. So, I wasn't experienced in that part. And this is just something I came across, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, this is exactly what the hell I was looking for. I'm just looking for my Bluntville's. As y'all know, we don't do the Dutches. We will not be a slave to the Dutch. And I damn sure ain't calling you my master. You know what I mean? So, what happened with this is I was on Clubhouse. And while I was on Clubhouse, I think I kind of changed the pace of a lot of the urban rooms who, profess this teaching and learning type of a thing, but it was really just all unnecessary debating. You know what I'm saying? The chicanery, keeping people distracted. So, I was one of the people that came in under Maroon Nation. I'm one of the people that came in and was just basically calling dudes out for just, it's like no matter when I'm logging in, it seems like you're here, which ain't the problem. I don't give a fuck, it's your rap. But it seems like you are, an agent of conflict, and you're making everybody else look like they're confrontational, but you'll notice that there's always that one person that jumps in with the BS. And I don't mean, in disagreements, because you might not understand. That's people's lack of ability to educate. Like, and I'm gonna show you what I mean by that through this making of a slave. Because all of that, pardon me, I was over here looking for my my pack so I can lock it down. Right? So, okay, I'm about to bring up this picture. Right? Now, if I need to zoom in on anything, I will be pressing and overlaying. You won't be able to see me most of the time, but you will be able to get a close-up of what I'm talking about. Okay. So, the other day, I was talking about the footsteps. Like if you look at the feet, you could be able to spot the Freemasons. Now, there's other things that would be telltale signs, and you'll start noticing as I go on, not just in this, pardon me, you'll notice as I go on, but not just in this picture. You might have to come back to it, because I won't be pointing it out in this, because I need these topics for other ones, and I don't really do this for the likes or anything like that. So I'm not really concerned if somebody takes this information and still puts it out there. I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? But I would appreciate it if you let it be known where you got it from. You know what I'm saying? Don't steal my information. And because my thing is that at least if you let it be known, if you might be a little misinformed, at least, you know what I'm saying, we could build on it. So I don't really have a problem with anybody using the information. And, you know, well, I might have a problem with you using it if you're not using it, you know, for the liberation of the people. But I don't mind if you're using it, you know, for that purpose of educating and informing. So I don't, you know, it's not really that I need any title or anything. Like, I don't really care. I just want to make sure that, you know, for the people who are putting it out there, but putting it out there wrong, you know, hearing a little piece of what you're saying and not really watching all of them and putting it together to make the full understanding, which I'll do eventually, but first I got to give you all of the aspects. And now I think I'll be able to pump it out more readily. You know what I mean? I said I'm not a fan of the wet blunts, but I am a fan of the tight roll blunts. So you'll see me pull it in. One day I'll probably give it like a real class on how I roll my L's. You know what I mean? You know, because I feel like, you know, my L's are beautifully rolled. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say they the spliffies. These are my L's though. You know? One day I might actually learn how to roll with paper. You know? But anyway, yeah, let me get into this. Put this aside real quick. All right. So, forgive me if you see like a little, I'm wearing the white. As you notice, I always try to wear the black because less reflection. I'm using a green screen, so white is gonna be the most reflective. That's why you might see a little parts in the background there. That's why you always see me try to stay in like the dark color, and usually black is the easiest. So if you're ever wondering, that's why. And especially since I got a light so close to me, it's gonna reflect that much more higher. But anyway, let's see here. The picture right here that we're gonna get into is, like I said, the birth of a slave. So if you pay attention to the feet, you would take a close look, right? We will notice that, you know, once again, it's on this thing called the square. Right now, might not be as intact right there. So let me go on to the next one, right? And as you can see more clearly what I'm describing to you. You know what I mean? So now as you looking, hold on, let me bring myself back up. Now as you looking, right, let me see if I can bring this back. All right. So now as you looking, you would understand what I'm saying about standing this phrase, standing on your square. Once you hear that phrase, understand that you are dealing in Freemasonry, whether you want to or not. That's the thing. It's unbetting upon you because it's through suggestion, meaning that you hear something so much you start embedding it into your life. So if you hear standing on your square and 10 toes or any of these phrases and you start emulating that, you might not understand if you're being indoctrinated or not. You understand what I'm saying? So let me slide through this picture. I already showed you the last one, right? Now I showed you this one, but now let me explain. Well, let me put this keyboard over here. Okay. Now, bamboozled, right? When somebody is bamboozled, let me bring this up. To Bamboozle. Alright? Definition. Now, to deceive by underhanded method, dupe, hoodwinked, or I got bamboozled by the salesperson to buy a more expensive model, to call to confuse, frustrate, or throw off thoroughly or completely. Right, and that's actually, and I read from the Merriam-Webster, my fault, so I should have pulled up the other one because I don't want to have you jumping around to different ones, right? So, hold on, right, hold on a minute here. So, cause I forgot where I pulled it. Cause the clip that I got right there, the picture that I got actually comes from a different source. I'm sorry for that, but so basically, you understand to bamboozle somebody, right? To cause confusion and frustration. Now, if you're ever on Clubhouse and you're listening to these black so-called progressive conversations, especially when majority of it is the youth, right? You'll hear a lot of misinformation, and you will see usually some elders there who are the facilitators of this misinformation. Like, yeah, ask the old head, you know what I'm saying? So they're usually the facilitators of this misinformation, right? So that's what bamboozled is, right? So now we got hoodwinked, right? Let's go into hoodwinked, right? Hold on, pardon me here. Hoodwinked. They keep trying to give me the movie. You know what I'm saying? They keep trying to give me the movie. I don't want the movie, man. Stop trying to give me the movie, man. I don't want the movie. Let's get to the hoodwink definition. Hoodwink. To deceive by false appearance. People who allow themselves to be hoodwinked by such promises. Blindfold or to hide. Right? So now when we think about let me see if I can pull this up on my what's the name here, right? Hoodwinked. Take this down. So we got the hoodwinked, right? So with that being said, we understand it's to deceive, right? To make you believe something. So let's say something like Juneteenth. A day that really technically doesn't exist because teenth is not a day nor a number. You know what I'm saying? So it's impossible to find a day because the number doesn't exist. It's a collaboration, right, of words, right? So right there you have been fooled and tricked and led astray. You know what I mean? So that's, a problem within itself. You know what I'm saying? But we will act like we don't see these things because they'll bombard you with it. And that's where I'm going to get into right here. So let me bring back down, this, and let's go through another clip here where, right, okay, and it's talking about what? Matter of fact, let me bring this on the large scale, right? This is the Jewish slave trade of Africans. Yes, that's what we will be talking about, right? This is what we will be talking about, right? So in that, hold on a minute, might have to bring this back a bit here. take it to 6. All right, no. Hold on. Okay, yeah, so we come here, right? And let's go. So as you will notice right here, I brought up a picture of going, into the whole of the shit, right? If you know anything about the story of Prince Hall, you know that he was eavesdropping from under this little thing and he was listening. So the symbolism within that was to keep us in digging up our past. Our history is basically buried. So to keep us distracted, they would give us the history. And if you do anything, any research into Rosetta Stone, I'll get into all of this. You'll understand the washing of that and keeping us entrenched into that. You understand what I'm saying? And so with that, we misunderstand. Like, it's like taking the Eastern Stars as well. To give you another example, Eastern Stars, the female organization. But when you talk to the female organizations, right, they'll tell you about spirituality and vibrations. And if you notice, it's stuff, and although it's moving from this heaven, right, but it's still this, these ancestors in the sky. It's still up there. It's keeping you in. So that's, if you ever wondering the different organizations and how they're geared, they're sticking to a script based on this, and this is how they're able to identify each other. So if she's like up, up as up and then below, and they'll say these little things to let each other know that they're Freemasons and Eastern Stars or whatever. So it's on you after that to accept the fact that they're running this game on you, or do you run them out? This is why I'm showing you this, so you can understand that they're, the manipulation that's being placed upon you. So let's go into now I'm gonna get more graphical into this stuff as I go on, but in order for it to make sense, I would have to, since Freemasonry works through storytelling, in order for me to break it down, I'd have to give it to you in the fashion in which they're delivering the story to perform on you, right? So let's go to the next clip, right? And now you come naked, or stripped bare of everything, right? And so now if you pay attention, you will see these ropes around them, right? And so they're called cable tows. And so one would not understand that when I tell them that the Freemasonic Lodge is the representation of the vagina. The symbol of the Freemason law of Freemasonry is a vagina, so the representation of the lodge is a vagina, meaning that there's only one way in, one way out. You don't know the happenings within it, just like the birth and for whatever that comes out. Now, whatever comes out would be any of these organizations that was born from that, learned how to implement these things within their organization, and then they're free to go out and complete their mission because they got enough members and all of that, and now they know how to go about it and perform the task on people, right? So now, with that, the reason why I mentioned the cable tow is, and it being a vagina, the cable tow represents the umbilical cord, right? So, I'm actually giving you a whole new show right here on, the initiation part and all of that, but I'm gonna just get into this in order, because remember, we're talking about the birth of a slave, so I'll break that down what I'm saying, but for now, just to give you a clear view of them being initiated into this new world, this world of opportunities and things like that, but you have to work for us. So you think about the Ku Klux Klan and, burning down the churches, but why would the Klan need to wear hoods at that time? Why? Because somebody within the church was going back and telling Massa what was going on, and he needed to be hidden. And as long as everybody was under it, you wouldn't know he was the one pointing out Jeffro and this person and saying they're the troublemakers. So you wouldn't know. To think about it, there's no other reason for the Klan to have to wear hoods. They yanking people out and burning down whole fucking towns because you might have did something. They didn't need to wear hoods, man. The hoods was for the agents. You know what I'm saying? So when you see the cable tow, right? So now they're burning these people into this system. This Jewish system of like a cabal, secrecy, and you'll learn that, through their manipulations, how many people are under it. And so once the person figures out that they was actually a part of it, they usually go into the lodge and see, how could they benefit from it instead of being benefited off of. You know what I mean? So, that's how it works. Usually, somebody was a predator on you, you pass the predator, and pyramid scheme. You pass the pyramid scheme down because, you want to get yours back or whatever. Who knows, man? So then let's go into the next clip, right? Which is this, people, is why we are here. It's called a slave collar, right? So wow, we all know of Willie Lynch, the Willie Lynch, story, the Willie Lynch syndrome, right? The making of a slave. Now, what people don't understand is it alludes to this story right here, which means that they lifted the chains off of you physically, right? But they enslaved you with the desire of the American dream through those who felt superior of saying they were already free, or whatever the case may be, light skin, whatever way that they implement the classation, because that's like one of the greatest tools of racism outside of bigotry. Outside of bigotry, racism is the biggest you got. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, yeah, so that's how you got it. I'll get into the other part. But, so with this collar, right, they were able to take you from chains, but hoodwink you into believing you were free because a whole new system was set up for you. This whole new system. So everything that you would be chasing and believing would be for you to remain the cattle and them to profiteer. This is how they designed it. It's by design. Mason-Dixon line. You know what I'm saying? So, as we go on, as a matter of fact, let me give you a closer look. Right? Now, if you look right here, right? And this is how come the Jews are mentioned. If you look up on top, you will see Goldstein, Levitt, and I'm sorry, I never really got a chance to see what the last person's name was, but it's telling you what they got. Mules, what they say, something in the beginning, mules and lovely niggers and such, right? Slave breeders, 1855, Atlanta, Georgia. Right. So now that you see that I wanted to, like I said, some of this is gonna require me to zoom in for you so you to get a better look. Right. So now let's go to the next clip. Right. And let's get into this. Right. Now we're gonna cause I'm going to this with you. It goes, hold on, let's bring it up to the 4, right? It goes, American Colonization Society, right? The American Colonization Society, originally known as the Society for the Colonization of Free People of Color of America, was founded in was that 1616 by Robert Finke, right? And encourage and support the migration of free African Americans to the country of or the continent of Africa, right? So, to understand what the scheme is taking place here, right? If you are going to stay in America, you're gonna go through hell. So they wanted to dwindle the numbers, right? And this is where I address the ADOS and all of them, because they are not necessarily privy or care about this information, because their job is to cause confusion. Now, I don't know as an organization, but damn sure the members. You know what I'm saying? They hide under an umbrella, so you can't say the organization. You don't know I don't know who set up the organization as an individual. I don't know what they did. So I just know what your minions are out there doing, and all they're doing is causing confusion, right? So, what this organization that was set up, and let me bring this back up for you, right? Now, what this organization that was set up, right? They came to the conclusion of removing the people from the land because they felt that it would be better. Because you got to remember, you had the Haitian War, you had a lot of revolts, not just Nat Turner, but you had, Nat Turner, and, you had these situations. Now, with these situations, white America was like, listen, we can't have y'all, meaning, the slave owners, the big dogs, right? We can't have y'all, keep breeding these fuckers, us, you know what I'm saying? And they're getting rowdy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you sending wild dogs out and, like a, what do you call that? Like where you take a species from an outside area that is foreign to, like it has no, and you bring it in because you're trying to get rid of a insect or rodent or whatever the case, and next thing you know, it takes over, and that becomes the problem. So they saw us like that, like, wait a minute, in their inbreeding, so you're bringing them, like you're breeding them right here. And that's another problem when you hear with the ADOS, they'll talk about X amount of ships and overlook the inbreeding and all of that other stuff. So, in the breeding of the slave within the country, not having to outsource and get it from out, they was just doing it in-house. So, you're overlooking that when you think about population and how they decided how to remove us from the land. So you had this society, a part of the abolitionists who wanted to supposedly end slavery, but they also wanted to get your ass out of here. You understand what I'm saying? So it wasn't in for your interest that they did this. You know, so then but all of these situations is actually playing a part to different stories. So I'm really trying to stick to the brainwashing, and I'm gonna get to that. But you know, in order to do that, you got to bring in these other elements where you got to, where I'm gonna have to give care to, you know, and focus on to give a better understanding even in that field. So, once again, I'm gonna bring up this this collar, right? Now, when you look at the collar, right? And now, mind you, this collar right here is from Tennessee. What it says, dark niggas, right? Then it says, knots. I guess those are the people, something more and knots, right? And now, and then you see the let's up top. That's from another. These all, mind you, these all Masonic. Jewish names. So a lot of people don't realize that Freemasonry is a Jewish construct, right? And so when you look at the Freemasonic symbol right there, you'll see, you know, it's on there to let you know that they're performing a new task. They're retraining. You know what I'm saying? And the Masons was doing the training of the slaves. So, right? So hold on a minute. I don't know what happened there. On my deck. But, yeah, so pardon me. Thought I took myself back down. Here we go. So, now let's go into a next pick right here. Right? Now, why did it? I thought it had more pictures than that in there. Let me see some. Oh no, hold on. All right. So now we come here. Let's go to the play. I got that 8. Oh no! So I gotta actually put some more pictures up because hold on, I can actually pull it up through my file over here. Just gotta do it a different way now. Thought I had this all fixed up. Alright, so give me 1 second, people. Forgive me. But I wanna really show you this right here. So let me go into my hoodwinked files. Alright, going to my to that, and let's see if you can see it through this right here. Okay, let me take this away. Right now, as you can see up top right here, right, this is Jackson, what is this, Alberta, Dawes, and Jackson, right? And this is what company? This is Atlanta as well. Yeah, so you know, we had, like, as you can see up top, you see the Masonic symbol. So even when it was different companies, they were still all operating under this Freemasonic premise. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I had the pictures up here, you know, showing you this stuff. Like I said, the bamboozled. Let's see here. Right. Boom. And this is really what I wanted to show you. These are the, like you see right here, trickery. The key thing right here is chicanery, right? To rig, to fetch, you know, to shift, to confidence, trick. You gotta understand the hoax, to swindle, right? To deceive, right? And I know Malcolm X done already, you know, did his thing, but what I'm saying is I think a lot of people might not understand that he was being bamboozled by a group, himself. You know what I'm saying? So they'll actually inform you of something while performing the task on you. So I wanted to get into, once again, let's get into hoodwinked, right? Where once again you could see, you know, the hoax, the gold, the cruising, the sharp, the fool, right? Dupe, outwit, fool, all of these, you know, things that they was always alluding to as far as Freemasonry. So the trick that was being played was being put on you. You know what I'm saying? So you will, or what the thinking was is you will be sold. You know what I'm saying? So they was redesigning slavery, and you still might miss it, so let me go on just a little bit more past this. Okay, here we go. Right, right now, don't pay attention to what's underneath. Pay attention to the imagery and what Freemasonry professes to do to get you to walk upright, to erect a man of you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when you hear a lot of these urban groups, they'll still refer to like white things as calling you a savage, and you know, and these type of things within the lessons, because these were the things that they were gonna use as trigger words and make you feel uncomfortable within yourself. Like, say if you watching the news and they're calling you and they're saying savage, but you know the lessons when all of that is calling people savages and this, that, and the third, you're gonna associate yourself with having to get in line, because that's what the training is, to get you to fall in line. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if you look at your Freemasonry, you'll understand what I mean about when they say about, you know, erecting you and stuff of this nature. So, you know, we went into the picture, and like I said, you see the cable toes on him, you know, around his neck, and they tell you that it's binding. You know what I'm saying? But those cable toes is the umbilical cord. So you are bound to this system, you know, through your birth, your rebirth. You know what I'm saying? So you were born now into this, you know, this system, and you can prosper if you do these things. So right there alone, you could see the eagerness of a lot of black people, especially at that time, you know, because they see this opportunity. The same way that they do it in the schools with the sororities and the fraternities, and you know they're hazing and all of that. That's the same thing. All of that is a part of Freemasonry. It's the same tactics. So it's to get you to fall in line. You understand what I'm saying? Especially within the black community, because you don't see the black. They'll tell you about black excellence and, you know, being their spending power, but it's not within creating. It's about within keeping up with the Joneses and convincing you to always do that. If you look at it, you know, a lot of people, they don't want to face that fact when they tell you the part about you know, being able to be this spending power and all of this stuff. So let me give you a better look at this, right? So hold on, maybe I gotta zoom back a bit. Right, we really don't need to see the him, but yeah, as you can see right here, you can see the cable toe again. You see the wrapping. So, like I said, and once you understand that full concept of being born again and, you know, coming into this place without nothing, you know, but now you're gonna make all of this, you know, like this, and so this is the initiation into Judaism, but as a servant. You know what I mean? As a servant. That's what you just bitted yourself to. Being a servant too. You're thinking something different, I understand, but that's not what's taking place here. You have signed on to do their bidding, right? And now, as you can see once again, hold on, let me zoom in. Right? Two things I want you to take notice to, right? I want you to take notice to the slumping, right? What is he doing? Right? He's slumping, so he's gonna be taught to stand upright. And I want you to pay attention to the feeding. Like I told you again, about this. Pardon me. Let me reach over here, get this. Pardon me, real quick. Yeah. So how to get an ashtray? Yeah. So pay attention to the feet. Pay attention to what it's portraying, and pay attention to imagery. Because Freemasonry works less off of what is being said. That's why when you see the books, it tells you things, but it's vague, where most of it is working off of stories. So what I'm giving you is the translation, right? And because, if you know anything about Judaism, it works off of written and oral translation. So when you hear people telling you this written translation of the Judaism, which would be basically an add-on of Christianity, or Christianity would be an add-on. So there's an oral story, and in this oral story is how they gain their wealth. You know what I'm saying? What is the story of the places that they've been? The other is how they gain their wealth there. And if you read the Bible, you would understand that. So, let me go into this next one right here. Hold on a minute. I can't go until I make this the regular size. I usually don't use my what's the name here, but now, okay. Now, if you know anything about Freemasonry, again, you know about the ruffians who beat up basically Hiram to steal the information. Now, the ruffians would be the Freemasons in this regard. To kill you with any logic, they will run up on you and bombard you with bullshit. That's their task, to keep you distracted. They don't have to physically harm you. They're just going to say all they got to do is keep you in confusion. And that could also mean to lead you in that, like say if I pop up with kilos and this, that, and the third. Now I can make the money off it, but at the same time, I'm setting people up for all type of chaos and mayhem to ensue. That's how this works. I'm not saying that you don't, there's no getting your hands dirty, because, these are brutes. Ruffians. So of course there's gonna be that element. That's who you look for. What they say, like Clarence X went to Brooklyn because, Brooklyn was a rougher place, where they say, go to Medina where the gods are meaner. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna build a foundation, that's why when you think of, the gang elements, it came out of the Bronx, but a large majority of that control was really like a Brooklyn thing. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that was Masonic right there, but the proof of this, this ruggedness, and, Brooklyn is rugged. That's just what the fuck it is. You know what I'm saying? You can't fucking deny that. So, that's what, that whole concept is. So you get the biggest, the strongest, or whatever, the smartest. Any of these elements of being able to dominate and conquer the logic and thinking of people. Whether, like I said, it could be through brute force. Yeah, what you gonna like when you hear them promoting the snitching? But what you gonna do about it? Such and such is a gangster. What you gonna do? You gonna run up on him? You know what I'm saying? All of this, that. So, they're basically telling you they winning by this brute force tactics, and if you are cowardly, you gonna fall for it. But then they're doing cowardly acts by working for the oppressor. They're the hey boss, watch the gun line. Those are those. Like I said, in this actions right here, there's many different elements. You know what I mean? So when you look right here, you'll see that like I said, it's Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe y'all can get a better look. Maybe you could see it's it looked like Goldstein, Levitt, and Bandy. I don't know. It's look like a M or Y right there at the end. So I'm gonna have to really put it through my what's the name? Let me see. See if we could probably see it a little bit more here. That's BIR. See right there, that's where I'm getting confused, but I know that's a BA, and then we got a D right here, right? So whatever, but we know that, I can't just scroll that way. So we know that, the Jews is playing a part. And if you know anything like about Freemasonry, like I said, once you enter the Red Lodge, you know the Royal Arts degree, you learn, the introduction into Judaism. You go into the shriners to indulge in, the Islam. But for the most part, they dealing with Christianity and Judaism. You know what I'm saying? But they will attack Christianity because there's a sect that breaks off into that, which is once again controlled by the white man regardless. You know what I'm saying? Or the Jews, should I say. We kind of like associate the Jew with the white man as if, they all encompass, and it's not necessarily like that. All right, so then we go here. Let me zoom in again. I'm not sure if y'all got a chance to see it the last time, but hold on. Right now, you see once again, you see the Freemasonic symbol. You see these people's name, right? If you know, and that's another reason why they went about the action of changing names in America, meaning that to change a name in America is basically to hide your identity, because they say, oh, you was getting teased because you was Irish, so you couldn't call yourself O'Leary, or an Italian name, Bruno, because you. So they was forcing everybody to change their names, but in reality, they were changing. They needed a way to hide themselves. So now they'll hide right in plain sight and go by these names, and you won't know that they're hiding within your community, right? And so when we look at these, these images, we see that this is the mind you. I'm gonna close out here on this, right? And I'm gonna actually pull up some articles. You know what I'm saying? I just closed it out because I have my files open. Now, remember we looked up the name from Levitt from the collar. So I took the time to search him up. Here we go. We got Daniel Clinton Levitt, right? It goes a life summary of Daniel Clinton, right? When Daniel Clinton Levitt was born, was born in 1843 in Parkersburg Wood, West Virginia, United States. His father, Daniel Clinton Levitt, was 31, and his mother, Emily Grace Lockhart, was 26. He married Elizabeth Shepinson Hutchinson on 7 March 1871 in Parkersburg Wood, West Virginia, United States. They were parents of at least 5 sons and 1 daughter. He lived in Wood, Virginia, United States in 1851. He died on September 14th, 1916 in Charleston, Kawaha. No, Kanwan. No, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. I ain't from there. If this place even still exists, you probably should change your fucking name. That's what I'm saying, right? West Virginia, United States, at the age of 73, right? But I got some music playing. Got the Midas. Right, so let's go into world events. They say it's 8 of them. Lupkin's Jail. In 1844, when Robert Lupkin bought land in January, this would be the spot of the infamous slave jail of Lumpkins, Virginia. The slaves would be brought here during the slave trade until they were sold. Lumpkin had purchased the land for his own slave business. So, right now as you see, remember we read the names and how these people were associated to the slave trade and business. That's the reason why, it's popping up with him associated with it, right? Now, U.S. acquires vast tract of Mexican territory in wake of Mexican War, including California and New Mexico. Abraham Lincoln issues Emancipation Proclamation declaring slave Confederate states to be free. Right? Then it says Arlington Cemetery, boom, Chinese Act, Confederate soldiers, assassination. No, this is my fault. A lot of this stuff right here, but the 1844 is what he's associated with. I guess they, bring up different things. Let me see what they have here. Okay. Jonah Mason Lovett of Massachusetts, Ohio, was born March 3rd, January 31, and Parkersburg, West Virginia, son of Daniel C. And then boom. His grandfather was a native of Loudoun County, Virginia. His son immigrated to Adams County in 1835 and emerged in teaching until 1838. In that year, he returned to Virginia and married Emily Lockhart, daughter of Jonah Lockhart and sister of Judge T.J. Lockhart. He and his wife located at Parkersburg, where they reared a family of 7 children, to wit, our subject and his twin sister Nanny, who married Matthew H. Hale of Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Lucky deceased, Daniel C., West Virginia. Harry deceased, boom, boom, boom. Was elected county surveyor in Wood, West Virginia. He held the office continuously until his death, February. Our subject received his education in the Academy of Parkersburg Conduct and John C. Nash at the age of 16. His entire 16, he entered the drugstore of A.N. Williams and remained there until his majority from him. He was a steamboat clerk on Ohio River. He was a clerk on Ohio Valley Bank. Boom, boom, boom. He removed to the farm of Monroe, Adam, where he remained there until Monroe Township. He served the township clerk member. He removed Manchester. Boom. He was removed Manchester, where he had resided ever since. He is now a bookkeeper. Well, how the fuck is this? This doesn't make sense. Stephen, married, boom, boom. Okay, this is not the same guy from over there. Now I just said something. Okay, you know what it is? I got this part of the thing from I guess like something where it popped up. Well, I know this is the guy right here, but I don't know, it's like giving me different pieces of history collected to see right here. It's supposed to be him right here. I don't know how this site work. I just typed on this one right here. So let me move on. Now, Lincolnia, right? Now, if you remember, I brought up the picture. Hold on, let me bring these guys back over. All right. Right. Okay. So let me bring these guys down. Okay. So as you remember, I brought up the American Colonized Society, right? And so I'm gonna show you the connection between the two, right? Laconia was the name of a Central American colony suggested by Republicans, United States Senator Samuel Phoaro of Kansas in 1862, after U.S. President Abraham Lincoln asked the senator and the United States Secretary of Interior Caleb Smith to work on a plan to resettle. Right, let me bring that up. Resettle. See, now here we go. American Colonization Society, originally known as the Society for Colonization of Free People of Color of America, was founded in 1816 by Robert Finley and encouraged and support the migration of free African Americans to the continent of Africa. The reason why I say this is just, when we give praise to Marcus Garvey, who was a Freemason, who was working in conjunction with these people, and once they can't use you no more, they throw you to the wolves. That's why you'll see like the Dr. Yorks and all of them, they all Freemasons. And once they get to a certain level and they don't need them, they throw them to the wolves. They reveal that what they were doing, and now they can go. You understand what I'm saying? That's just how it works. Or until somebody exposes them, and then, you still ain't needed no more, then they can just bring that person up and say, yeah, here we go. Since his early public career, Abraham Lincoln supported the American Colonization Society and a controversial group whose goal was to remove the removal of free blacks from the United States. That was their goal. So, like I said, when you hear Abraham Lincoln, you know, and when you, well, better yet, when you hear the Marcus Garveys and all of them, understand that they was all in cahoots to do this. Now, I'm not saying, because I'm gonna get into, there was some people who resisted, but that's how we had this strife within America. You know, the should we leavers and should we stayers. You know what I'm saying? It says, Blacks United States, starting in the let me make sure I can see this up. Here it goes, okay. Starting in the 1920s, began settlements of West Africa that would eventually unite to form Liberia, similar to, let me see, to Laconia. The name of Liberia's capital, Monrovia, was derived from the name of the fifth president of the United States, James Monroe. So, even Liberia, they had their grips in it. And as anybody knows, Liberia right now is in turmoil because they have decided to run out the Freemasons, who actually helped found that nation along with Cameroon and others. Right? Do your research on this, people. Do your research on these organizations and understand the problems that they cause within that nation. Right? So let me get into it right here. Right? Lincoln desired to return former slaves to Africa or other tropical regions with their consent and the accord of the authority of the country where they were to be settled. He repeated his support for colonization numerous times, including during the Civil War. So, when we think of Abraham Lincoln, do we think of a man who wanted to free the slaves, or did he just want to clear us out while evening the playing field for white people? But saving some, well, he really didn't want none of us there. So, and I'm going to get into that right now, right? Give me 1 second. Pull up this this right here, right? Let me see if you can see it. Right? I want to make sure you can see it. My fault. Let's see. I'll put it up on the purples. Let me just see if I put it on this one. Okay. Now I'm not. Now you might not be able to see the whole thing because it's actually leaning over to the side, but I'm gonna still bring it up nonetheless. Okay. Right. Oh no, actually you can probably see it. Okay. So it says, Lincoln acknowledged this was. Wait, hold on. I'm way down. That's why what it is. Okay. It says, Lincoln to slaves, go somewhere else. Right now, this is the National Archive. Pieces of history. If you know anything about the National Archive, you know it's the U.S. National. This is like not something that you just, you know, somebody putting up on the internet. This is, you know, stuff that has been saved, you know, for history that everybody deemed to have. So unless everybody decided to lie on Abraham Lincoln and they pulling out letters and all of this stuff, this is what he fucking said. Basically, go somewhere else. Right? Now, let me go into this. The issue of slavery divided the country under Abraham Lincoln's presidency, right? The national argument was simple: either keep slavery or abolish it. But Abraham Lincoln, known as a great emancipator, right? May have also been known as the great colonizer when he supported a third direction to the slavery debate: move Africans somewhere else. I tell people this all the time. I tell people that, Abraham Lincoln did not free the slaves, nor did he have any desire to deal with them. It was economics. It had nothing to do with the people. They were just simply cattle to him. So that whole Abraham Lincoln was black. And listen, get your history right, right? But this ain't about Abraham Lincoln per se. It's about a movement that, basically is Freemasonry, right? Long before the Civil War in 1854, Lincoln addressed his own solution to slavery at a speech delivered in Phoaro, Illinois. I should not know what to do as to the exiting institution of slavery. My first impulse would be to free all the slaves and send them to Liberia. So they was already setting up Liberia, right? Because Liberia wasn't there yet. They was trying to convince people to get there, right? To their own native land. Unless, matter of fact, Liberia was the land that, because one of them, they basically formulated the land, and one of them was already there, and they just basically occupied the land, their own native land. While Lincoln acknowledged this was logically impossible, by the time he assumed the presidency, the Civil War was underfoot. The nation was in such duress, that he tried it anyway. So let's get into this. By early 1861, Lincoln ordered the secret trip to modern-day Panama to investigate the land of the Panamanian named Ambrose Thomas. Thomas had volunteered his Cherokee land as a refuge for free slaves. The slaves would work in the abandoned coal mines on his property. The coal would be sold to the Navy, and the profits would go to the free slave to further build up their new land. Now, if you don't hear the bullshit within that right there, you're crazy. This is somebody's land. They're basically transferring slaves. They were basically selling him these people to work his mind, and he's gonna get paid. They're setting up a contract for him and everything. That shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay attention to this shit here. Lincoln sought to test the idea on the small slave population in Delaware, but the idea met fierce opposition by abolitionists when it went public. In April 1862, Lincoln was still in the mid of that emancipation, and deportation was the key to a peaceful United States. He supported a bill in Congress that provided money. When it says provided money, to be expended under the direction of the Presidency of the United States to aid in the colonization and settlement of such free persons of African descent now residing in said district, including those to be liberated by this act as may desire to immigrate to the Republic of Haiti or Liberia, the United States as the presidents may determine. So, as you can see, there was a plan hatched, right? Look at the dating. The Freemasonry, collars and all of that was still while slavery was in effect. The same way they're setting up people today for a new system, they set us up for a system of that time. You know what I'm saying? They set us up, lined us up, trained us to be obedient. You know what I'm saying? And if they suspected disobedience through our tellings, they would handle those situations accordingly, if you understand what I'm saying. And that still happens today, but now they train you after a while to just do it. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. It's like the easy pass. They'll introduce you to the easy pass in one way, and next thing you know, all of those benefits and all of that shit go out the window because they got everybody doing it, and they use one place as an example to do it nationwide. You know what I mean? So now, like an easy pass type of thing is everywhere. It's not just, in the major cities where it got its push. Do rappers like Jay-Z, you think I'm gonna stop at the toes with your measly asses? We don't know. Think worry about your measly asses. We don't stop at the toes. We got easy passes, fly line. You know what I'm saying? But the damn show was promotion. You know what I'm saying? So, let me move over to another situation. Now, this is gonna break down that we read right there and larger context. Right now, hold on, let me bring this up. I don't know if that can come up there. Okay. Let me bring this up. Right? The African American delegation to Abraham Lincoln, right? Now let's go. It goes Kate Mauser. She's the person who, put this article together. Abraham Lincoln, August 1886, meeting with a delegation of black Washingtonians was always been critical to those interested in addressing Lincoln's views on race and on African Americans' future in the United States. Right? Because when sometimes people will give you something and you don't really analyze what's being said. You don't really study and understand what's being presented in front of you, if you understand what I'm saying. So when you really look at something and you critically evaluate it, what do you have on the table? Here's what we have on the table. At that meeting, because now I found this article because as I was looking into the aboriginals, right, or the aborigines, whatever, the people who decided to, acting like they were against, but they were all in one. Some people, they just wanted to get rid of us, but keep an X amount of us for indentured servant servitude. You know what I'm saying? Us working for them in some type of way. So they needed still an X amount. That's why they always provided a ghetto off to the side, you know, for the workers. It's like you got a house and you got your little worker. Well, towns are set up in that same fashion. You know what I mean? Don't get it confused. So, you know, put the workers over here and all of the luxury and all of that over there. So, that's how I wound up looking it up, because I wanted to know who were these 5 people. I believe it was 4 or 5 people that Lincoln had called to the White House to have this discussion of us being willing to go to, you know, Africa or Haiti or whatever, because a lot of people don't know that Haitian history either. But I'm gonna allude to it here, and I can get into it deeper later. But I'll get into it. But as far as shipping people outwardly, getting them out of the country, you know, so I wanted to know that. I wanted to know who the hell were these people who gave this authorization. Right, so it says right here, it goes, let me see, I'll probably zoom it in better for y'all. It don't hurt, right? It don't hurt. Let me see here. Bring this over. Maybe I can get y'all to see it more than I could possibly. Try to get as much in there as possible, you know what I mean? Okay, here we go. Alright, so, make sure, okay. So it goes, where we at here? At that meeting, Lincoln famously told the 5 delegates, you and we are different races, and it was better for us both to be separated. Lincoln hoped the Cherokee region of what is now Panama would be in a spacious destination for African Americans whom he doubt would be able to enjoy prosperity and peace in the United States. This is the person that you're saying liberated the people. You're saying he liberated the people, and he's telling you, yo, listen, get out of here. You're not gonna be safe here. You're not gonna be good. So when I see African Americans in America, or whatever title you want to go by, complaining, I'm like, what part of this didn't you understand? You was told from the beginning. They don't even believe that you're going to be good here. They don't believe it. He's telling you, leave. Get the fuck out of here. I'm telling you. You know, so, you know, understand that, you know, the black abolitionist response to Lincoln's colonization purposes proposal is also well known. Okay. Men, now you gotta see I got this in a different color. So this is men like Robert Purvis and Frederick Douglass denounced it, charging Lincoln with racism and insisting that African Americans should demand rights. Pardon me. Right, you hear me? All right. So, you know, traffic around here and shit. Men like Robert Purvis and Frederick Douglass denounced it, charging Lincoln with racism and insisting that African Americans should demand rights and equality in the nation of equality in the nation of their birth. The coming months would reinforce the logic of their position. Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, and black men began enlisting in the U.S. Armed Forces, opening the way for African Americans' claims of full citizenship. Once again, dear ADOS people, you are staking a claim that is actually entitled for those people who were brought here. Not from the date that you saying this 15 whatever. That's not how reparations work. You actually wouldn't even be entitled to this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me scroll down here because I know I had oh yeah, here we go. Okay. So now that was all a part of the Abraham, showing you the connections. I'm showing you the connections within these organizations in the plot to get you out of here. It was always deemed for you to have to go. You understand what I'm saying? It wasn't deemed for you to be here, so when you're making certain complaints, it's falling on deaf ear because they're going to say you was warned, and that was that. To an extent rarely acknowledged, in 1862, the Capitol was the center of national lobbying and debate about black immigration. This was largely the result of congressional policies. In April, Congress passed the District of Columbia Emancipation Act, which provided both for compensant emancipation of the capital's approximately 3,000 slaves, and for the approximation of 100,000 and fund the settlement of those free and newly freed Africans, as may desire to immigrate to the Republic of Haiti or Liberia or such other countries beyond the limits of the United States as the president may determine. Because the Emancipation Act left the destination, right, I'm going to scroll past the footnote here, for government sponsored immigration, undermined the promotion of diverse colonization scheme flicked to Washington, hoping to persuade the government to favor them with, see, I don't know what this legacy, I don't know, as one prominent component of Liberian immigration. See, that's when they're trying to get you over there to Liberia, put it. This $100,000 is the carcass over which the turkey budgets are gathered together. The colonization bonanza scheme to grow even larger this summer when Congress appropriated an additional $500,000 for colonization purposes, creating the fund of $600,000 at the president's disposal. Basically what they're telling you is they was hustling the system by using us. If you know anything about the Wiggers and these other parties, pardon me. If you know anything about the Wiggers and these other parties, you would know that, what do they call them? They had the, not the filibusters. Pardon me. Might as well light up while I'm waiting for the madness to slow down. 600,000. Yeah. So, like any like say if you got a war on crime or whatever, you get these funding. They were taking that funding, basically letting it collect so they could turn around and use it for something else. Is basically what the charge was. Like, yo, y'all up here, y'all just fronting. That shit ain't going for that. You know what I'm saying? And it goes right here. Okay, I want to make sure you can see it. It goes, the government appropriation in the Lincoln administration keen interest in colonizing opened a new chapter in the long-standing debate among African Americans. See, meaning that you were using a group of people to invade another place. You understand what I'm saying? You using this funding like the beginning of them black site programs and shit. We was one of those, like the beginning attempts to that. You use us like how they did the Jews, basically. You know what I'm saying? Take them up and they and uplift them and put them into Atlanta and just let them be there. You know what I mean? So that's how they attempted to do it. So for decades, black Northerners had discussed whether to leave the United States and out light out on the project of racial uplift and autonomy, where we at, and some other more friendly location. Over the antebellum period, African Americans support the immigration tended to raise in period of white anonymity towards free blacks and ebb when prospects for a future in the United States appeared to improve. Meaning, every time black people seem to make some type of leeway, white people would step in and do whatever it takes to keep them down. Now, mind you, this was being said back in the 1800s. Strange. So when you hear these people, even within our community, using this white logic of making excuses, what was their logic then? And how come it's still the same construction? There's still the same balance, there's still the same living within a certain means, it's still everything. And you still got a certain group who will pull through and tell everybody else no, it's because of this bootstrap thing. Now, I'm not saying in today's time you don't have an opportunity to open up a new lane because of digital, and now you have the pandemic. So if you can design things that cater to that, you got a chance to restructure yourself. Still don't change government and all of them other things, all of them white controlled systems that can still fuck you up. Depending on what you're doing, there's always a way to bring you down. You know what I'm saying? For instance, interest had grown in the 1850s, when developments such as the 1850 Fugitive Slave Act and the 1875 Dred Scott decision made many Northern African Americans fear that their safety and despair for their future in the United States. Although the number of Northern African Americans who actually left the United States remained relatively small, the debate about immigration was instant and hard fought. And wait, instant and hard fought, my fault. Instant and hard fought. Oh, and it revealed sharp disagreements among African Americans about the relative merit of continuing to engage with American institutions and claiming American citizenship versus abandoning the country for better prospects elsewhere. So, basically, it was those who were free at one time, and when bills passed to catch fugitives and all of that, they got nervous, and so it was like a chokehold, forcing them to want to leave. Because remember, the objective was to get them to do it on their own accord. You know, that's the main objective, to always keep their hands clean. So you have to convince the people without, it's like the mob putting the pressure on you without looking like they putting the pressure on you. That's how you got like the system today in the black community of no snitching. No snitching is really, I can do anything that we claim white people do to you and don't say nothing. I don't subscribe to the no snitching. I subscribe to like the rats, meaning that if you in any type of organization, I don't know what loyalty is, so I can't tell you what your loyalty is, but your honor is supposed to be whatever that secrecy and those things that is entrusted in you. Meaning that if you decide to walk away, I would hope that your honor was such intact that nobody would have to fear that you would talk, right? But depending on how far you indulge in something, that's a strange request. Meaning like, murder and stuff like that, in the black community today, we act like that's something you're supposed to just catch. You know what I'm saying? Like, whereas, and that's the reason why snitching and all of that can be prevalent, due to the fact that it's not promoted in our culture as that's something to avoid. You understand what I'm saying? It's like white people I have that I hope you don't. And like Cedric said, I hope you don't, and we on that, I wish you would. Like approach, and that's where a large downfall is coming in there. I'm being honest with you. A large downfall is coming in, based on that mentality of just out. Like I remember saying in a rhyme one time, only way to be above the law is to respect the law. So if they say do 65, do 64. You understand what I'm saying? Meaning that, just respect it. You know what I mean? Doing 90 on the highway, knowing you dirty as hell just doesn't make sense. Like, you above a system that's set up when even they know to stay within those guidelines. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's what I say when I talk about the slave mentality of convincing you to throw yourself to the wolves through the promotions of these things, where that's not their promotion. So that's the reason why you don't see the chaos. And it sure will say that it's reporting, but the truth is that's what they demanded you to say in order for you to get put out. So then it's hard to argue that, because it's like you digging yourself in your own hole. Everything that you fearing, you creating. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you can see that evident in today with the youth and their conflicts. They say certain things in the albums, in the mixtapes, and they see immediate response that's destructive. You know what I'm saying? So you know that's how it's easy for me to break it down. But then it goes like this. So this is the reason why, you know, a lot. And then let me stick to that point real quick about the red zone up here. Now, you know, looking for this better prospect, like I said, is the same thing that we always promote now. It's like like I said, you gotta understand the hoodwink. You know what I mean? Once they decided that they couldn't get rid of you, well, they knew that they wasn't gonna be able to get rid of you. You understand what I'm saying? And they already set in place what it is. So on one side, you could say, yeah, Abraham Lincoln was fucking with their money. Get your hands out my pocket type of a thing. We already got this set up. This is and you trying to tell them to go. While you got another side that's like, well, yeah, some of them gotta go because we ain't gonna be able to control all of them anyway. And that's why you see today when I made the show about the gangs and all of these different organizations set up to keep you in a certain position or to bump you off. Get rid of the outfits, those who's a problem, and redesign this to be, you know, the beta movement. You know what I mean? So I'm about to close this up, but I wanted to now when it says in again 1862, three demonstrations for black immigration were under consideration: Liberia, Haiti, and Central America, particularly the province of Chikiri and New Ghana, Granda. Each one had its own history and meaning for African Americans. Most controversial destination between Liberia was Liberia, which was established in 1822 and as an enterprise of the American Colonization Society, ACS. The ACS was a colonization slaveholder and anti-slave activist who wanted to diminish, right, black population of the United States. Northern African American had long questioned the motive of ACS members, who sometimes advocated forced deportation of free blacks and often espoused racist views. Their doubts about Liberia were I got this is why I haven't been doing shows too. Lately, I don't know, it's just been happening more, but I don't know. Hold on. It goes. Hold on, I got the alarm, and I don't want to. Just in case I have to do some editing, I'd rather make it as simple as possible. So I'm gonna let this alarm go off for a second. You know, somebody gonna shut their shit off. See what I tell you? That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like back in the days where a motherfucker had to walk all the way to his car. So that shit might be going on for a minute. The motherfucker don't even want to get out of his bed. He like, man, fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Till the neighbors call him up like, yo, you better shut that shit off or I'm gonna fucking blow your car up. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, now as you remember, I brought up the ACS. That was like the number one part that I brought up because I wanted to show you that these organizations were set up, and you know they was playing a double-edged sword. They was running game. So they initiated members, you know, and of the black community to perform this swindle of aiding and abetting, removing, and now, when you also look at this organization, you would also see that it's beyond just the United States. That's how they was able to get the Caribbeans, the Moors and all of them, to sign on board. And like I said, it's a whole different story, and I'm gonna show you how it works when you. It's easier to see once you look at Liberia. You'll understand the whole tactic. I'm not gonna get into the Liberia part today, but after this and this information right here, when I take you into Liberia, you're gonna understand because it's all connected to this, as you can see. So, who sometimes advocated forced deportation of free blacks and often imposed racist views. Their doubts about Liberia were heightened by reports from immigrants. They're describing difficult conditions and widespread disease and mortality. Northern African Americans' views about Liberia improved somewhat after 1847 when the country became independent from the ACS and black immigrants began governing the nation. Amid talks of the U.S. expanding diplomatic recognition of Liberia for the first time in early 1862. The Liberian government sent commissioners to Washington to lobby for a share of the colonization, appropriation, and recruit settlers. Please understand what that means right there, people. Listen, right? Let's get into I'm going to take you to amid talks of the U.S. extended diplomatic recognition of Liberia for the first time, meaning that like now you are, acknowledged as a free nation. Like, you can sustain on itself, and you fell under their fold. You understand what I'm saying? So now, after that has taken place for the first time early, right, the Liberian government sent commissioners to Washington to lobby for a share. This is the most important part. The colonization, appropriation, and recruit settlers. Meaning that the money that was, given to basically invade, they want a piece of it. Like, nah, you gotta break us off. And you gotta aid us in basically taking over other people's shit. So understand, what's happening over there with the aiding and abetting of us with this new slave mentality. And I'm gonna break down how it's gonna be proven to be a slave mentality over there. Like I said, when I do my Liberia report, it's gonna be deep. For me, it's deep, because it's a eye opener into a tactic. Like, these were the things that became clear to me, and when other things were looked back upon. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so the prospect of immigration to Haiti had a very different history and meaning for African Americans in 1862. Haiti had emerged from French colony rule as the world's first independent black republican in the Western Hemisphere, first black post-colonial nation. The nation itself was thus a source of inspiration and pride for African Americans. So, I'm hoping I'm heard. Okay, let me see. I'm just checking to see if I'm being heard. Sorry. Let's see, here it goes. The nation itself was thus the source of inspiration and pride for African Americans. In the 1820s, the Haitian government had appealed to African Americans to settle there. Right? So when you talk to a lot of ADOS people and they trying to alienate islanders as if they're not natives or they're not entitled to anything. Remember, they shipped you out of their country to other countries, and so we are related whether you like it or not. We're all a part of this giant scheme. So, that's just what it is, and I keep saying that because I hear a lot of these ADOs do it. I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to get caught up in this Freemasonic new squabbling. So I'm just throwing it out there, but, I'm just, I don't want to get caught up in it. So what we got? We going, had appealed to and did have settled there, creating a flurry of debate in the United States. Haitian immigration gained renewed population during the 1859s in 1860, when U.S.-based immigration based immigration advocates led by James Vedep, a white abolitionist, right, working with the Haitian government to encourage settlement. Results were disappointing, however. By 1861, word reached African Americans, right? This is all footnotes. African Americans that immigrants to Haiti were often treated shabbily by locals, and that the Haitian government did far less than promise to accommodate them. Nevertheless, Haitian immigration was still a going concern in spring of 1882, and Redep himself sought to recruit new settlements, excuse me, to recruit new settlers from among those who would be freed by the District of Columbia's Emancipation Act. So, what this is telling you, people, is before you were free, they had already had a setup to get rid of you or to keep you, but to keep you within a certain condition. So when you say that racism isn't systematic, it shows you from here it's systematic. You cannot debate with systematic racism. You cannot debate that we have been aiding and abetting in this system. When you look up, like I think I did this show on Marcus Garvey, and you would see him connected to the same organization. And when you look at Marcus Garvey, you would know that him, Elijah Muhammad, Noble Drew Ali, all of them were all connected. They were all connected. So when you look at this, you see what's going on. You see that it's a system set up to be controlled by them through us, with the promise of you being able to you know, grow on your own. I'm gonna put this back to me real quick. Slide this up here like that, right? Probably got some smoke in the lizards. So to understand the making of a slave is to give him this dialogue of him being made into this man. He was this savage living this savage life. You know what I'm saying? Doing savage things. So he makes him upright. Let me go back to the pictures over here so when I say this, you can understand what is being said. Alright, so, hold on. Alright, so, like I said, he's training you to believe that you are a savage, and he's teaching you to be this upright person. They use these devices like, okay, the Jews used it on the Christians, right? You know, the Greeks or whatever you want to say. They used it on them, right, to control them. Now, that same group is using it, you know, and expanded it, you know, to anybody who has a voice since they opened the door of having a voice. So now the black man, the voice meaning voting. So once you have a vote, once you vote, you have a voice, right? That's why everybody should vote, because you have a voice, but they're hijacking your voice. So that's why, like, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like you want to support voting because it supports your voice. You know what I'm saying? It represents your voice. But your voice is being hijacked through like the electoral college and stuff like that. You know, so it's a catch-22. But like I said, to keep you to being upright, you know, they use this system of advancement and to be upright, meaning whether it be, oh, if you ain't got money, you ain't got nothing to say, and you know, because those are the things that can allow you to be viewed as this high esteem, you know, esteem. But you gotta play their game. You understand what I'm saying? It's like when the legal system wasn't even letting black people, you know, being lawyers, even have dreadlocks. They're dictating you in a legal system. If they can dictate you to even on how you can even participate in the legal system, how are you really participating in that system? If they can tell you, right, you need to look this way, right, and you've seen it even in the movies. If you pay attention, you might see like, you know, an attorney come in there, and they'll be like, counselor, this is not appropriate, you know, attire, and you know, he'll be like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, Your Honor, or whatever the case may be. So there's a dictation. Right? There's a way that they are dictating how you to present yourself, and they are the ones who dictate how you get there. So the system is not, you know, working for you if it's already set up for you to be submissive from the beginning. A white person can come in there with wild, crazy hair. You walk in there with dreadlocks, it's a problem. Big fucking problem in thinking that way and accepting that type of limitation of you to be able to represent yourself. So that means that right there, you are putting yourself in somebody else's empowerment. Like they are imposing an authority upon you to your every walk, because now you have been trained. So that's how you walk out the door. You feel you earned that to get inside that, and so now you subliminally take on that belief system, which most likely you was indoctrinated in through probably, I'm thinking, what is the academics, the real because I know sigmas and zetas are like the real great academics for the females. I'm thinking, whatever. But for the guys, they got the academics fraternities as well. So, like I was saying, these are the teachings. These are the teachings, and which is subliminal, but those teachings are psychological, convincing you, one, the initiate, that you have, earned this, and so now you're gonna take a sense of, ownership in that. You know what I mean? And if anybody challenges that, all of the stuff that you did or sold out for or whatever, you're gonna defend that. So that's where we have this, this classation, racism within the community, and because that's based on, shades of what color you are and what doors you can get in, and you know what I mean, especially back in those days, and it's still gonna sustain. Now you might look out more for your cousins and sure that opens the door, but they make sure them numbers are low, and so, like these, like I said right here, teaching you how to stand erect. When you're standing on your square, you're supposed to be erect. You understand what I'm saying? And let me see right here for the zoom in, see what we got up on top. Before bowing and bowing. This is how you're supposed to bow. If you notice, like in, say like in drama, especially, because that's how Freemasonry, excuse me. That's how Freemasonry works within telling a story. So then, these are, the ways in order to spot them. I'm trying to teach you how to recognize them. You know what I mean? And like I said, it's through storytelling. So this is about, a group of people who are basically beating you. Like you heard us saying, beat them over the head. This is basically that. You being bombarded with this information, and they're teaching you how to perform it. So this image right here looks like this, but in actuality, it's a lesson on how to perform it, like meaning that the guy in the back, he does these type of things, but it's not physical. It could be mental. You know what I'm saying? The attack, the words and the things that you say to attack their belief system. And like you might see the gentle hand and from the back, but an aggressive approach from the front. These are tactics. You understand what I'm saying? These are tactics. And they're being taught on how to perform it. And so I'm gonna end it with that. Like I said, I hope you understand, and I hope you learned something about the making of a sellout, the making out of a slave, in the sense of answering the Willie Lynch, letters. You know what I'm saying? To answer the Willie Lynch letters is if it's true, yes it is. And this is how it's being performed even to this day. So if you was wondering if the Willie Lynch letters were true, and if the person really wrote it, if it was a Willie Lynch or not, it's in the story that the message is given. So was Willie Lynch letters true? Did the person who presented to you do his job, and it going viral and it spreading the way it did? Yes, he did. If that is reverse Freemasonry, kudos to you. You did your job. I'm just here to break it down so that way the job was completed. Peace, people. This is your boy Juice Wanna. With another episode of Smoke and Jokes, where we discuss today's topics while indulging in the greatest of herbal essences. And today's show was brought to you by no other than 50 Shades of Grape. I mean, make no mistake, there is 50 Shades of Grape. On the left, peace, people.